One of the first things most people buy when they become wealthy is an extremely expensive watch. Celebrities and the world's richest people select only the most expensive timepieces, like watches made by Jacob & Co. But don't you wonder why these wristwatches are so expensive? In today's video, we take a look at what makes Jacob & Co. so expensive. Let's get right in. The brains behind Jacob & Co., Jacob Arabo is a man who is highly invested in the creation of spectacular timepieces and jewelry. Having started his watchmaking empire from scratch, Jacob has created a vision in the watchmaking industry that is purely unique in terms of technicalities and aesthetics. Curious as to know how all this started? Let's talk a little about Jacob's watchmaking vision. Jacob Arabo first opened a jewelry company in New York way back in the 1980s. His designs were extremely unique and like never seen before, Jacob quickly gained a reputation with so many wealthy people and celebrities alike. He began making watches in 2002, and the diamond-studded male wristwatches he created back then made him very popular. He then moved to create more technical timepieces like the Quentin, which was first introduced in 2006. Jacob & Co. saw a massive hit in watch creation in 2012, the same time its Swiss headquarters was opened. Now, Jacob & Co. has two headquarters, one in Geneva, where he solely creates exquisite wristwatches, and the other in New York City, which is dedicated to jewelry. This is where the game of creating the best timepieces begins. I mean, Jacob's watches involve high craftsmanship and great jewelry expertise, but it goes way beyond all that. Jacob's imagination is not limited by complications and technical boundaries, and this gives him the ability to make his watches look like they are out of this world. Hence, the main reason why they are quite expensive. What else would you expect from wristwatches that seem to have been brought from another planet? The best part of this is that behind all of Jacob's imaginations is a team of watchmakers who take their time and put so much effort into creating the best watches in the world. Jacob has teamed up with people who can incorporate and translate all his imagination into the spectacular timepieces that Jacob & Co. is known for. Once Jacob has a vision for a new timepiece, this team of designers and engineers who love what they do so much prepare to bring his vision to life. The watches are created in a unique way that exhibits the efforts and designs put in creating them. So much time and arrangement are put into the birth of watches like the Astronomia and the Bugatti Chiron, just to mention a few of the most expensive watches Jacob & Co. is known to have ever created. That's not all though. The cutting process of the equipment used in making these timepieces takes at least 2 weeks of painstaking work. Not to mention, Jacob & Co. only makes use of platinum, sapphire crystal, diamonds, pure gold, and hundreds of handmade components for the construction of these wristwatches. Would you look at all that work put together? Little wonder why these price tags on Jacob & Co.'s timepieces are very high. Jacob & Co. is known for its totally different style and designs that no one's ever made, not only by the appearance of the watches, but also by the technical efforts put into them. Their collection comprises of jaw-dropping timepieces like the Astronomia and its evolution. These feature astonishing kinetic movements with a view of planetary indications which are always in motion. To make you fall in love with the wristwatch at first sight, the watchmakers at Jacob & Co. further included a multi-axis turbulin which is protected with a transparent case and has a high-domed sapphire crystal for you to have a clear view of every inch of the timepiece. Other exquisite and highly expensive timepieces are the Opera Godfather and the Opera Godfather Minute Repeater, which is decked out with both a triple-axis turbulin and musical mechanism playing the Godfather theme. The Bugatti Chiron timepiece will be sitting on a 16-cylinder engine on your wrist, made to be an exact look-alike of the Chiron's engine. It starts up with designed pistons pumping up and down and naturally displays the time too. It is quite obvious that the designs of the wristwatches created by Jacob & Co. are highly interesting, as Jacob brings to life something unique and fascinating, and all of this is brought to the entirety of the watch industry. More interestingly, creativity and complexity are key factors to Jacob & Co., hence the reason why their watches are more cinematographic than functional, and they all stand for various meanings, depending on whatever interpretation you give to them. The fact is, Jacob & Co. envisions a concept, constructs extremely intrinsic designs, and is practically doing things that other brands are not even thinking about, making their watches extremely worthy and high-priced. Their watches display things that you would never see in other wristwatches, and their watchmakers are allowed to venture into a world filled with lots of fantasy, bringing every single one of them to life. In the case of the Recital 22 Grand Recital, this timepiece is highly priced due to the amount of craftsmanship put into it. At the center of the watch is a hemisphere, which stands for how the Earth is seen from above the North Pole. This creatively constructed design would have been unachievable without the layers of enamel the watchmakers used in making the hemisphere. The paints used too are luminous in that when you turn off the lights, the continents glow up. And there you have it, an incredibly compelling view all to yourself. That's not all though. This watch also tells the relative location of the moon and the sun to an observer standing on the Earth's surface. This is one of the watches that fall under the category of watches that are called astronomical complications. The watchmaker did not leave all the designs to the facial structure of the watch alone. They proceeded to load the back of the wristwatch with information using something called the perpetual calendar. It means that the Recital 22 Grand Recital can tell the difference between a leap year and a non-leap year, and can also show whether each month is a 30-day or 31-day month as each month passes. The finishing work on this wristwatch also adds to the price of it, as it exhibits real old-school craftsmanship, and we have to say, this does not come cheap. When we talk about limited watches that exude luxury and are worth so much money, among them is the Beauvais watch. This watch is a limited piece, and it's all due to the complexity involved in creating them. We would know that there are only 60 of these wristwatches worldwide. It's a design which stands out and was made with exquisite miniature paintings, creating in the form of what watchmakers call cold enameling. To finish it off, the design would be placed right on the dials of the wristwatch. So, as you see, the creation of all these effects does not come easy. It takes weeks and sometimes even months to make these designs, not to talk of the number of weeks it takes in addition to cutting up the diamonds and other handmade components used in creating these amazing timepieces. Without a doubt, Jacob & Co. creates their watches using special products and highly captivating designs which also scream money. At this point, it should not be surprising that their timepieces are very expensive. What do you think about the creation of Jacob & Co.'s timepieces? Do you think that they're worth the price? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching.